If you're a fan of superhero media, you're certainly not alone. Just a decade or two ago, fans were mostly reading comic books and bonding amongst themselves. But then Marvel began building its cinematic universe. The recent surge in popularity for the genre has been explosive. Fans of all sorts of franchises that usually didn't get much attention were suddenly at the forefront of popular culture.
Atlantis, we're gonna give them a fight that they will never forget!
One thing about this phenomenon has raised a singular but tough question. Are you on Team Marvel or Team DC? We don't have to guess. Don't get me wrong, the DC universe is amazing, but when it comes to recent adaptations, Marvel blows DC out of the water, especially when it comes to box office success. Why is that? Keep watching to hear our ideas about some of the ways that DC could improve their universe and how they compare to Marvel. DC does seem to be stepping up their game. The 2019 Joker film starring Joaquin Phoenix was very successful, and Black Adam, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, was a surprising hit. Shazam, released recently, was also quite successful. But before that, why were DC franchises seemingly less popular than the arguably equivalent Marvel properties? As is the case with a lot of companies, Warner Brothers had a disadvantage when there was a change in leadership. Zack Snyder, director of the Justice League films, stepped down in 2017. This change greatly affected the trajectory of the next few movies that DC released. Things seem to be calming down in DC land since James Gunn, creator of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and Peter Safran took over as co-CEOs of Warner Brothers. Now that we've covered the mundane parts of the staff, we can get into the good stuff about the actual movies. Let's talk about the multiverse. Marvel has a few movies out there that have a multiverse theme, but let's face it, the multiverse shown in those movies are pretty much just afterthoughts. DC has the option to swoop in now and create their extended universe with a decent multiverse system.
The greatest military might on this planet.
Today we unite our kingdoms.
With a strong working multiverse, DC could reboot old projects that have been long forgotten. They could even relaunch projects that have never made it through development. With all of these options, DC has a lot of content to work with now. Think of all the properties that could get another chance. Batgirl, Green Lantern, Gotham City Sirens, characters like Cyborg, Harley Quinn, and even Joker could all get more screen time. The situation with Ray Fisher as Cyborg and his exit from the DC Extended Universe is another topic altogether. There's a lot to unpack there, but I digress. We could maybe even see another shot at Suicide Squad, but obviously, none of this can be rushed. Marvel didn't rush things when they were creating their extended universe. I think when The Flash comes out, we will have a better idea of how DC is going to handle future properties.
You wouldn't sully your hands, but you'll damn us to a black hole for eternity! Jor-El was right. You're a pack of fools!
What do you think? DC also has a unique opportunity to create some really good TV. In case you missed it, Peacemaker, starring John Cena, is a DC property, and although the show wasn't super popular, the people who did see it seemed to love it. As you could have probably guessed, John Cena was a huge incentive for people to watch. But after the novelty of watching John Cena in what is basically just a wrestling outfit fighting crime, the show steps up in a way that some didn't expect. The writing and character work was actually good.
Rand, we're here right now. What would you want to say to him?
That my family too had dreams. And which ones do not?
Not that Marvel doesn't have good writing or characters at its core. Of course they do. They're working with some of the most popular characters of all time, and their film epic has spanned over 30 movies. That's quite a resume. The difference here is that Peacemaker focused on its characters and didn't focus on visuals as much. Many people love Marvel for the visuals, the impressive CGI and amazing camera work, but if that's all that fans can see, it gets pretty old pretty fast. With Peacemaker, you get a nice balance of fan service, writing, effects, and story. Another aspect of Peacemaker that came as a pleasant surprise was its sense of awareness.
Wait. I don't want to do this anymore.
This is for your own good, my child.
Let me explain. In a lot of Marvel properties, it's obvious that everyone involved was aware that they were working on a Marvel film. Lots of cheesy dialogue, pauses for people to clap in the theater, and over-the-top sequences just for shock value. We don't see a whole lot of character development or earnest conversation between them. All of that is fine, but it does definitely diminish these films' rewatch value. Something else to consider is fan behavior. Marvel has fallen into the fan service trap in the past. They become afraid of disappointing their fans, so they overproduce, over-stylize, and over-sanitize their movies. That's just one way of saying they're afraid of taking risks. DC's fan base is also shouting at them, but these fans are asking for the return of the Snyderverse. Yup, that's right. DC fans are asking for Snyder's universe to be revisited and rebooted. DC's new head honchos have a choice here. They can listen to fans and avoid a risk like Marvel, or they can take the risk. What do you think DC should do? Are you part of the #RestoreTheSnyderverse movement? If so, please tell us why. We would love to hear your thoughts. Some of the movies that have been announced may hint at James Gunn taking these suggestions seriously. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and The Flash, which have been announced to be released later this year, will both feature Snyderverse actors. Most importantly, we will be seeing Ben Affleck as Batman in the upcoming Flash movie. Why is this important? Well, the most recent Batman film starred Robert Pattinson, and before that, the DC Batman actor that everyone thinks of is Michael Keaton. By casting Ben Affleck to return as Batman, DC has recast one of the original Justice League actors, giving a lot of fans hope that the Snyderverse will actually be relaunched. Peacemaker also featured Jason Momoa in the final episode, confirming that the show is part of the DCEU. Awesome! We can't wait to see what interactions these two might have within the universe.
Mercy!
I don't know! I would not let them tell me! Now, if you kill me, Martha dies. And if you fly away, Martha also dies. But
Call me Ocean Master.
You can take my army.
Now we must talk about how Marvel and DC create and maintain their epic universes. Marvel has always used a sliding timeline, which allows them to tell stories concurrently and allows the characters to stay around the same age throughout the many movies. DC has always leaned more toward using alternate timelines to achieve the same effect. Of course, there are pros and cons to each of these methods, but we are here to say that DC needs to stick to their guns for once. How many times have we seen DC crumble and attempt to just copy Marvel? Newsflash, it just doesn't work. If DC is going to create and maintain this extended universe, we need to focus on the multiverse, the aspects of the Snyderverse that worked and that fans liked, and by learning more from Marvel's mistakes. What do you think of all this? If you were put in charge of the DCEU, how would you proceed? Would you continue Snyder's work or completely restart like Gunn? I don't need 3 guesses to rule out that you'd probably not have DC become a lame rehash of Marvel. Please, let us know what you're thinking down below. We want to keep the conversation going. See you in the next one.